Hi class, in this video I'm going to give you a general introduction to InDesign, the program that we're going to be using for our final project. So here we are, this is InDesign. You can tell that it's InDesign because it says it right here. It looks pretty familiar on this entering page, pretty similar to how Photoshop and Illustrator look, and it's set up similarly. So now let's just jump right in. So we start off by hitting Create New. When you open this program up for the first time, you won't see this stuff. These are the recent projects that I've worked on. But you should see Create New, and you can hit it. It's right here. And when Create New open, when you hit Create New, you should see this dialog box open. It's the same as the other welcome dialog boxes. And we start off just by naming the project. This is just a test, so I'm just going to call it test. And then I like to switch it to inches because I understand inches more than points or picas. So this is just a regular default document. That's fine for this. I just want to show you the orientation is the same as in Illustrator, where you can change it to either be landscape or portrait. A big difference between InDesign and the other programs is that you can have more than one page, and when you have more than one page, it gives you an option of something called facing pages. So I'm just going to show you with the preview. So if I hit the preview, we can see a preview of what the document will look like if we hit create. So let's say I hit 3 pages. We won't actually see that in the preview, but I'm going to show you what it's like if I have 3 pages and we have facing pages. Facing pages is kind of exactly what it sounds like, and you'll see it when you see it. We always want to start at page 1, and then the next thing here is margins. This is the margin of the page. It's this pink and purple line. If I make it go higher, then the margin moves. Now this is an inch margin. We can make it smaller. I think that the 0.5 that it has it as the default is pretty good. And then this is the last thing that we want to talk about is the bleed and slug. Slug's not important, but what is important is the bleed, and that's the amount that it goes off the page. And I'm just going to show you that. The industry standard is 0.125, so that's what I always do it as. And it's the standard because that just is the best for printing. Okay, so now I hit create, and now we have this document. And you can see over here in pages, these are the thumbnails. It's kind of like the artboards in Illustrator, if you've seen those. But this is what we see here. It's the pages, and this is the amount of pages that we have. So I have page 1, and then page 2 and 3, and you can see that they are facing together. If you don't make the amount of pages that you want, or you find at some point later that you want to add more, you can definitely add more pages. You would add them by going here, right, to the create new page. It's like creating a new layer. And now we have 4 pages. I'm just going to make this a little bigger so we can see it. And now we have 5 pages and then 6 pages. And you'll see that page 1 stands on its own because it's the cover page. And then you have these 2 and then these 2. This makes another spread. And then this is our 6th page. Let's say we have 6 pages, but I really only want 4. So now I can trash some pages. So I can, this is what's selected. So if I hit the trash can, it gets rid of it. And if I hit the trash can now, we'll get rid of both of these, which maybe we want. Yeah, so we just got rid of a whole spread. Now if I click away and then I add a 4th page, great. So that's how the pages work. I want to show you the commands. These are the tools that we have. This is the move tool or the selection tool, direct selection. So this is like InDesign. Other tools that we're going to end up using is the text tool. Over here, you can make a text box. And then you'll see that in the properties panel that's over here, it realizes that we're using text. So it gives us our text options. And this should remind you of Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word, you can change the text here, you can change the font, you can change the size. That's what, So we can change the, test this tool out. So now I can highlight the text and I can change it to whatever font I like. And now I can change the size of the font, right? Okay, so that's our text panel. We can change the size of the box, okay? And then, so that's what I want to show you for that. We also have this marquee, the rectangle tool, which is very similar to Illustrator, where you can just make tools. So this is how we would make the page a color. If we wanted to, we could make this a color. We could change this color. Now we would go to the layers window, and then you could drag this rectangle underneath the text. And now we have, and this is our document. So you see that there's two ways to look at this document. You can either see it in the regular way, or we can hit, there's a preview mode, and you get the preview mode, and that simulates what it would look like without all the lines and all of the guides. And what you do to get that is you hit the letter W. No modifiers, just the letter W, and that gets us to preview mode. If you want to get out of preview mode, you'd hit W again. Good. So now I'm going to delete all of this. The next thing I want to show you is the windows over here. So I have it set to be with properties open, layers, links, and pages. I think those are the necessary windows that you can have open. And I think it's good not to waste space, especially if you're working on a laptop. If you open this panel right here, I think usually it will be set to Essentials Classic when you open it for the first time, but it might be on any of these, printing and proofreading. So what these settings are is that InDesign is used for a lot of different things. So the people who designed it made different workspaces to accommodate different kinds of projects. You can also customize your own. So I'm going to do that, and you can do that if you would like to. Essentials is good. So really, I think you could just keep it at Essentials. But when you have it at Essentials, it doesn't look like this, because it could be that at some point I did customize it to look like this. The way that you get rid of the windows is the same as you would in Photoshop and Illustrator, and I will show it to you right here. So I could drag this out, and I could hit X, and now it's gone. And if I want it back, you could go to Windows, and this is where you'd get all of the windows. So I'd go here, and I'd go to Property, and it opens the Property panel. And now I'm going to drag it in like that. So the way that you drag it is by clicking it, holding it down, and dragging it until you see a blue line. And then if you see that blue line, it's going to drag there. I actually prefer it being under layers and links and pages. So that's properties. And then we can look at layers. Layers is the same as Illustrator, where you can add new layers when you feel you need them. I usually like to have a background layer for pictures and a layer for text, but we'll get into that later. You want to have links open, and you want to have pages open. So these are the 4 panels, the 4 windows that I think you should have open, and the tools stay the same. If you want anything else, you can just get them over here. The text, the character and paragraph tables are under type and tables. So this would be so you could change your fonts and your sizes and everything like that, which you could use, but it comes up when you have something selected in properties, so I don't know how necessary it is. But some people like to have it open. You also can have stroke, right? There are a lot of windows that are helpful. Anyway, that is a basic introduction to InDesign. So what I want you all to do is just mess around in the program for 15 minutes and see what happens when you try to type something out. Type out a sentence and then change the font. So if you double click inside this text box and then you hit Command A to select the whole thing, you can change the type. This is a font that I have. You're not handing this, and it can be anything. I just want you to practice using it on a test document because it will make it easier for later. And then you can change the size. So what happens if your text box isn't big enough for your sentence? So here I have type out ascend, but it gets cut off, and you can see that it's getting cut off because of this little red plus sign, which shows that there's an error. And then down here we see that there's an error. So what you would want to do is just make your box bigger so that way it fits. Okay. So then you can also try getting a color. You could fill this in over here. You can get rid of the stroke color if you'd like. None. So I want you to notice that there's also, the color options in InDesign are the same as they are in Illustrator. You can get colors over here. You can also get colors by going over here. In this project, you're going to be using black and white pictures with one color, any color that you choose. So you can look at colors over there. You can look at colors here. You can also open the color panel. And then you can mess around with this, with the sliders until you find a color that you like. That one's pretty neat. Okay, that's all I want to do for this video. Mess around with the type tool and the rectangle tool and check out the different property panel, the different things that come up when you hit the property panel, and enjoy learning more about InDesign. Okay. And of course, ask me if you have any questions.